Alright, in our last video we had finished up creating our app with a registration page or a register page. We've got a bottom navigation which was already pretty much done for us. We just changed some information. We added some fragments in here that we can navigate between, and as you can see, if you click on account info, it's account info. If you click on login, it's login. Click on register, it brings us to all the stuff that we worked on in the past few videos. So we have all these edit text fields that we can enter data in, and when we click on the register button, we've basically gone in, we've compared certain things, we make sure that there's entry in every field. We've kind of said we want a correct format for the emails. We want them to match so that you don't basically you lessen the chance of them accidentally typing the wrong email in and then they can't figure out why they're not getting their email. Same thing with password. Got them re-entering it, and then we check it over here in our programming when we click register. So now that we got all that data, what we're going to do is down here in our good code, we're eventually going to send that. We're going to grab just the name, the email, and the password and send that to the database, because we don't need to send the other ones. We've already checked those and we know that they're the same as password and email, and that's really all we're collecting anyways. So, and you want to have as little data going to and from your database as possible, only what you need to go. Now we could have done this and we could have ran it all up to the server, checked it there and stuff, but that makes your application less efficient. So we do most of our checks here, and then if we have any further checks that we need to do up there, we'll do them, and we will have some things that we need to check up there. So we're going to go over and we're going to find a place to host our database, and we're going to create a database. Alright, before we head over there to actually find the hosting site and everything, I want to show you this W3Schools. You can do so many things in here, and you're going to need to do them over the course of basically probably a lot of it in this actual tutorial about building your app, because there are some things that you're going to need to do HTML wise, some CSS. JavaScript is basically kind of the back end of Android. SQL for querying your database, and PHP for connecting to your database. So in SQL, for example, you can go down here and almost all of them have this little thing. You can try it yourself. Now, of course, you got to know some things, because SQL is a complete different course. So we're going to basically be dealing with just the basics. So here, if you select all from customers, run the SQL, it's like, okay, they've already put some dummy data in here for you, and but this is kind of like what it would do. And of course, the different databases can talk to each other. Like, you might have employees that have certain customers, and like say, there's so many things you can do with the database. We're going to keep it real simple. We're just collecting some information so people can log in. So it's just going to be a single table database, and each one of these are considered a different table. Alright, so if we go into customers, which we're in, to give you an idea that this thing does work, and I clicked on it over here, you see how it puts brackets around there. There's different formats, but then you can filter it, which we will be doing in our actual PHP when we query the database, because we're going to run some checks. Like, we want to make sure that the person isn't already in there. And since they don't have an email here, because that's what we're going to be checking, because most people have a unique email, we're just going to filter for, and we'll just scroll down and we'll say, okay, let's see, we want to filter for, let's filter for London, because I see there's at least 2 of them in here. So we'd go in here and we'd type in where city equals, and then of course to do a string, you got to put either quotation marks or single quotes, and we'll say London. So just by doing that, it should filter, because you see you got all these different cities here if you look down. So it should bring just back the London ones when I run this. So see, we've got all the cities of London. Now these are the things that you can do with the database. So you can run quick searches and all that stuff on your information. So once again, like I say, you can go over here, you can learn more about it if you need to know more about it right now. But I'll probably put together something later on down the line. Now, as for most of these, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, you can run them right on your computer. SQL, PHP, well, PHP is a server-side script, so you have to have that on a server, or you have to install an environment in your computer. Now, if you run through, get over here to PHP, if you run through, it'll show you different things like install, the intro, basically, what everything is and does, the different if-else statements, switches, loops. And I mean, we've used a switch statement already. We used a if-else, else-if. It's a little bit different, the formatting anyways, or the how it's done, the syntax. But you got arrays and all kinds of other things, and we'll be covering some of that. And like I say, we'll be returning, because that's how we're going to talk to our databases, through a PHP script. So now we're going to continue on and go over and find a place to host our site. Alright, so if you pull up Google and type in 000, and it should come up. If it doesn't, webhost. And it should be the first thing that comes up. It's free. Just click on it. It'll take you to 000webhost. I've already got an account, but you could go in here. You could go free sign up. Basically, all you need is an email address, which I recommend creating one just for this course. And there's so many places you can go. You can go to Outlook, Yahoo, Gmail. I created this one just for this course. And of course, you need a password and then a website name. So what are you going to call your website? You can call it your name. Like I say, you need something though, because you're going to have your own unique website to host your database. So, and it'll basically, I'll show you when I get over to mine, it'll basically be whatever you call your website, and then it'll be basically at webhost.com. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then log in, and I'll meet you there in just a second. Alright, so if you haven't gone any farther in this, we're at the login page. I got my stuff, my email. I go ahead and save my email to this, just so I don't have to remember it all the time. But you do need to remember it, because you're going to have to get back in here eventually. So, alright, and then we click login. Give it a second here. Alright, once you're logged in, you can build a website here, which we'll do maybe in a later video. You can set your web address so you can actually pay and have it set to a web address that you want. Got a file manager, which we'll be using a lot in this one, because we'll be uploading our PHP files, and then managing a database, which we're going to use here in just a second, because we've got to go in and create our database before we connect to it. And then, of course, managing emails and settings. So first thing you want to do is go down. Well, actually, click on Manage Database. And scroll down. Now, if you didn't have a database, which I already have one in here, so it has nothing in it, but basically I've named it training. So you would click New Database. It's going to ask you for a name. Give it the name, probably password, and username, I believe. Actually, let's go ahead and click on new. We won't do it. Yeah, so database name, database username, and a password. So you're going to need those three things. Once you're done, it'll create it, and you will be at this point. So then you'll click on the Manage button once it's created, if it doesn't automatically go in there, and then click on phpMyAdmin, and it will take you over to this page. So you have your database. Of course, if you click on the plus button, there's nothing in it. So we're going to go ahead and leave off here, and in the next video, we'll come in and we'll create a database and connect to it.